Hi guys, I'm Katya and today I'm traveling from Paris to New York City for work. What do I do for work? I'm a global strategy manager in a large CPG company. And what does a strategy manager do? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you what. So let's dive in. In today's video, I'm gonna mix things up a bit. I'll take you with me on a business trip to the US while talking about my role. Today, I will share 3 things. What strategy management looks like in practice with simple examples, what my responsibilities are, and how to become a strategy professional. I've been with the strategy team at my company for about half a year now. Before this, I used to work at McKinsey as management consultant, so I've been in this field for a while. My job is incredibly varied. I work on my company's biggest challenges, meet colleagues from every part of the business, and travel around the globe. And today, I'm flying over the Atlantic to join a workshop with my US-based colleagues. After enjoying a lovely Sunday brunch with my husband, I'm hopping into a taxi and heading to the airport. As we drive, I'm scrolling through my emails and figuring out what work I will do on the flight.
So I'm in the airport. I'm 2 hours in advance, which is great. So I will have a chance to check in without running as I usually do. And also maybe have a cup of coffee at the lounge.
When I have a long flight for work, I often go for business class. It's comfy for working and lets me get some sleep, so I'm ready and fresh for my meetings the next day. So guys, I have half an hour to chat with you. Let's start with the basics. What is strategy management? Strategy management is the process of defining the direction in which the company is heading and the process of guiding this company towards the vision of success, let's put it this way. And there are 3 major types of responsibilities for strategy managers. First one, it's definition of long-term goals. You basically have to answer the question how the success looks like for our company, let's say in 7 or 10 years. And I know what you're thinking now. This sounds pretty generic, right? Yes, it might be, but I will give you a very simple example. Let's imagine you're a strategy manager for a beauty company and you have to come up with a vision of success. And after dozens of brainstorming sessions, alignment of all the various possible stakeholders you can imagine within a company and outside the company, you come to this. So I even wrote this down. The vision could be become a pioneer in product innovation and sustainability. So to achieve this vision, the company could set 3 goals. As an example, first one, generate 100% of its revenue coming from only sustainable product lines. Second, achieve reduction of 30% in carbon footprint. And third one, let's say, serve 10 million clients annually. So basically, now that we know what we want to achieve as a company, we need to move to the second stage, is defining how we will achieve it, which leads us to the second area of responsibility of a strategy team. So I'm in the aircraft. We are about to leave Paris for New York. I'm very excited. Since we are not flying yet, maybe it's a good time to continue my story about the strategy manager role in the organization. Let's move to the next area of responsibility, and it's going to be a logical next step after you have set a vision, set a very big and clear goal or objective of the organization. So the next logical step will be the planning the path towards achieving these goals and objectives. This is kind of a decomposition of the goals. And if you take our beauty industry example, we could go and see how it may look like. Let's take generate 100% of revenue from fully sustainable and organic products. What does it take to achieve this goal? So first, logically, you need to develop those products and launch this 100% eco-friendly and sustainable product line, the one that will be meeting all the ecological standards and so on. So next, to maintain the very strict sustainability standards across the whole supply chain, because as an organization, you produce something very sustainable and eco-friendly, your supplier or the retailer retailer through which you are actually selling this product does not work in line with sustainability principles, you are basically not achieving your goal. And the last part will be build a sustainability-focused brands that will be appealing for eco-responsible consumers. Let's put it this way. And all of this already sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Cheers. Cheers to that. And the third part, last but not least, is tracking the progress towards our vision of success. On a regular basis, you kind of asking the business two questions. Are we moving in the right direction, in the direction that we set? And are we moving fast enough, according to the plan that we initially agreed on?
Équipage embarquement terminé.
My flight went very well. I did some work not only as a strategy manager, but also as a YouTuber. I did some research for the next video I'm planning to film. The food was amazing, as always. Air France might not have the best planes, but definitely the best food on board, in my opinion. And tomorrow I will take you to the office with me, and I will explain what I actually do as a strategy manager on a daily basis. And this will be my video setup. I'll put the camera here, sit here on a bed, and we'll see how it works. Hi guys, hello from New York. I'm sitting in my hotel room and I almost finished all the working responsibilities that I had for this trip. So I'm happy that I can finally sit down and continue this video about my daily life as a strategy manager. Something that I already told you was about the strategy management in theory, but what I actually do when I come to work, like every day. And if we take one working month, then 50% of the tasks that I will be doing will be managing strategic projects of today. So we developed the strategy. Now we are going into the implementation phase. We have several very important projects. So I, as a strategy manager, I will be overseeing the implementation of this project. I would say 30% will be dedicated to the strategies of tomorrow. And then I would say that final 20% will be dedicated to alignment and talking about the strategy. So let's talk about this first 50%, managing strategic projects. Once the strategy is defined, you need to execute it, right? What is it? Those are like top priority initiatives for the organization that will allow organization to progress in the direction where the strategy will be like heading this organization to. Each of the strategy team members, at least in my company, we will be overseeing, I would say, from 2 to 3 of these strategic initiatives. Unfortunately, I obviously cannot share my personal example because of confidentiality reasons, but we can always come back to the beauty company example that we took already. So if we take one of the big steps that we decided that we want to do, reduce the carbon footprint. So basically the reduction of carbon footprint in itself could be a strategic project. And that could include a lot of different steps, like first the assessment of current footprint, then setting the realistic targets, like discussion like what we actually can achieve, what we cannot achieve, then also talking to different consultants, experts in the industry on like how to reduce that, come up with a very like tangible actions, plan them, and like go and implement, and then of course track the results against the targets. So this is kind of like in a nutshell how the strategic project could look like. I would say that 50% of my work is dedicated to those types of projects. The interesting part is that they are very different. So my personal background is from sales and marketing. I finished my master's degree in marketing. I used to be a brand manager. I did like a lot of different rotations within marketing functions. I worked in sales as well. So this is kind of my strength, let's put it this way. But even though I'm an expert in this part, I will be also, as a strategy manager, overseeing a lot of different different projects, like which would go like way beyond marketing and sales.
So this is something that I really like in my job, that I can have this broader view, like a helicopter view of the business. And what's also important to add here is that sometimes managing those projects involves a lot of travel. This is something that I like about my job. I really like traveling. So, for example, I came to New York because I needed to run a couple of workshops with my US-based colleague, and I would also need to do some field visits, so go to the stores to see how exactly the business works and so on and so forth. So I needed to be like physically present in the US, and this happens sometimes, and I travel, I would say, about 50% of my working time. So now let's move to the strategies of tomorrow. Once the strategy is developed, it's not set in stone. Once you come up with the strategy, you cannot just fix it for, let's say, 7 or 10 years and not revise it. You need to revise the strategy based on two things. First, external factors, like market situation changes rapidly, and there are also some black swans. So those are the events that happen accidentally. No one expected them to come. Let's take a COVID example. You just cannot continue with the same strategy when the COVID is hitting your business. You need to adapt. You need to adjust. For some businesses, that was a huge booster. So they needed to see how they could grow even quicker, how they can use this momentum. For some companies, it was a total disaster. Like, people could not spend some time outside. Like, for example, take the hospitality industry or restaurants and so on and so forth. The strategy needs to be adjusted. I would say that this second point why they should be adjusted is also like based on the internal factors. Sometimes some situation could happen within a company that will also have a very big impact on how the company operates. And sometimes also, like, you can see that the management is changing, for example, and new management would also want some refreshment of the strategy normally. So this is kind of a never-ending process. You set the strategy and you review it constantly. You will be doing it like on a regular basis. You will see how the company works, how we're progressing, what are the market situation, what are the opportunities on the market, how we could use those opportunities, what are the potential threats, how to mitigate the risks, and so on. Now let's take those final 20% of my job. This is the communication part. So communicating the strategy, aligning the strategy, making sure that everyone in the organization is on the same page and understands where our organization is heading to. My work involves a lot of communication with senior leaders of the organization. And leaders need to know what progress the company is making towards its targets. So I do a lot of PowerPoint slides to either present the work which is already done, or present a plan for the future project and ask for their approval or alignment, or maybe inputs and some feedback. This type of work would include coming up with the plan of this communication, making PowerPoint slides, aligning those PowerPoint slides within the working team, so making sure that everyone is okay that we are presenting this or that message, let's put it this way, and basically presenting this message and tracking the comments, the inputs, and progress afterward. And I also wanted to share with you how my typical day would look like. But when I started to think about it, it turned out that I don't have a typical day. One day I will be flying from Paris to, I don't know, to Washington for the workshop or for the strategy conference or for some other reasons. And I will be working during the flights, and then I will be checking into the hotel, taking some calls, then going on a meeting and so on. The other days could be like me sitting in front of my computer and doing some presentations during like 10 hours straight. But if you take like a general rule, I would say that maybe I would have 2-3 different calls or in-person meetings within a day, and the rest will be focus time. And now I will move to the final part of this video. I will talk about career in strategy management. This role is very complex, so you need to master like a lot of different skills. But if I were to highlight top 3, I would go with the following. So first, it's the problem solving. It's a complex problem solving, creative problem solving. So everything around ability to analyze the data, market situation, maybe not only numbers, but also like verbal insights and so on. So this is the data analysis. analysis, then your ability to draw insights from this data and then to use those insights in order to create the actionable strategies. So this is something that I will call problem solving. The second skill is the executive communication skill. You will be interacting with a lot of senior leaders within an organization, and senior leaders, they're very, very busy. So when you're communicating with them, you need to be very sharp. So what will be highly valued? It's your ability to synthesize like very, very complex things, complex subjects, and communicate it in a very clear and direct manner. Ability to draw those insights and also receive feedback, get the actionable feedback, get the inputs from senior leaders and act on them. Of course, you will also need some public speaking skills and ability to present your thoughts, your work, and so on. But this is only part of it. The key of this executive communication, the essence of executive communication, is the synthesis and clear messaging. This is something that will be very, very highly valued. And the last one, I would call it a broad business acumen. As you already understood from this video, the scope of work of a strategy manager goes far, far beyond the one particular function. You will definitely need to understand how the business operates, how the different functions interact within each other, what problems in one field can affect the operations in another field, and so on and so forth. Your ability to see the business as a whole with all those parts and all these connections, this is something which is really important. It's already getting dark outside in New York, so I will be finishing my video with the typical career path you can take in order to land a strategy role within an organization. First, it's important to understand that a strategy manager role is a rare find. You can rarely see them on LinkedIn and so on. And this is because those teams tend to be pretty small. As an example, I work in a huge multinational CPG company with over 100,000 of people. And we are a team of 5 associates working in the global strategy. So you can have a view and understanding of how rare these positions are. And in order to talk about the potential career paths, how to land this job, I decided to do like a very quick but still research. It's a research on LinkedIn. So I took about 30 profiles on LinkedIn of people who work as strategy managers, global strategy managers. And this is what I found, basically. Approximately 60% of people who work in global strategy now or in strategy came from MBB. This is so-called big 3 consultancies, McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. Those are the biggest consulting firms in the world. And this is exactly my case. I'm ex-McKinsey consultant. This was my very typical career path from the consulting. Then other 30% will be coming from consulting departments of either tier 2 consulting companies, like for example, Oliver Wyman or A.T. Kearney, or consulting departments of big 4 consultancies. Those are PwC, Ernst & Young, KPMG, Deloitte, yeah, those are big 4. Those are another 30%. Very small portion of people from the LinkedIn I saw, they built this career in strategy growing within their organization. So in most of the cases, they used to be either in finance or in marketing. So to sum up, if you think that strategy management is something that you want to pursue as a career, my suggestion is pretty straightforward. I would suggest to go to the consulting firm, ideally big 3 consulting firm, but not only. There are a lot of options. You can go to the boutique consulting firm or big 4, tier 2. There are multiple of them on the market, and spend at least 3 years there before looking for the exit opportunities and before landing your job in strategy. So guys, this is it. It was a long video. I'm very thankful that you stayed until the very end and watched it entirely. I also have a lot of other things I want to share with you about strategy management. So for example, pros and cons of those roles, salaries, a lot of different stuff. If you are interested, I could do either another video or I could answer your questions in the comments below. So thank you guys for your time. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos from me and push the like button if you like this video. Bye!